A one, two, a one, two, three, four. Okay, everything should be working. The stream is live. Okay, I will wait a couple seconds just to make sure everything's going, but it looks like everything's going. La-di-da. Okay, so the stream is live. No one's watching yet, but if someone was to watch the stream after the stream is done, I'm going to try and make it more interesting at the start. Even though no one's watching at the moment, I'll still talk anyways. If people are watching, that'll make the stream more interesting if you're just tuning in. Now, my name is Adam Brazell. I'm the Bible Nutter. I am what we're going to do is just a simple Bible study. I'm going to read or King James Version of the Bible, and I'm going to be reading Proverbs chapter 19. And I don't know how long I will go. Like, it's till 5, from 4 to 5, and I'm going to read until 5. I could read a chapter or 2 or 3 or 4, so I don't know how long it will go. It just depends on how much we get through. And so that is that. Now, before we do anything else, there was, oh dear, there was one other thing. Okay, so number one, I'd like to thank Anna for making me a picture. See my picture? The Bible Nutter. Perhaps I should have brought it closer. I guess I could do that. Oh. It's really on there. Okay. I should have put it up closer first and then hung it up because it's really stuck on there. I don't want to break it. That would be bad. But yeah, she made me some art, and I love it. It says Bible Nutter on it, and it's an acorn. So it's very good stuff. Something else. I know I'm doing a Bible study and not a news thing, but apparently there was a female shooter that just killed 3 adults and 3 kids at a Nashville Christian shooting that just happened today. So that's bad. I don't know why she did it. It just happened, so the details are not out. I just know that apparently some girl shot 6 people, 3 adults and 3 kids, and then the police shot her, so she died. But I don't know why. But I think a natural, it's your first, like, so my reaction is like, why did she do this? And a liberal's reaction is we need more gun control. So that's so unfortunate, because no gun control law in the world would have stopped that. So that's that. And so without further ado, let's get into the hold on a second. What is going on here? Okay, everything is working. Everything is on. Okay, so we're going to read Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 19. I'm using the King James Version. And here we go. I always need a drink when I say here we go. Okay, here we go. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. Also, that that the soul without knowledge, also, that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. The foolishness of man perverteth his way, and his heart fretteth against the Lord. Wealth maketh many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape. Many will entreat the favor of the prince, and every man is a friend of him that giveth gifts. All the brethren of the poor do hate him, but how much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, yet they are wanting to him. He that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul. He that keepeth understanding shall find good. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. The discretion of a man deferreth his anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor is a dew upon the grass. A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. He that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul, but he that despiseth his ways shall die. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again. Chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crying. A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment, for if thou deliver him, yet thou must do it again. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. There are many devices in a man's heart, nevertheless the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. A slothful man hideth his hand in his bosom, and will not so much as bring it to his mouth again. Smite a scorner, and the simple will beware, and reprove one that hath understanding, and he will understand knowledge. He that wasteth his father, and chaseth away his mother, is a son that causeth shame, and bringeth reproach. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth error from the words of knowledge. An ungodly witness scorneth judgment, and the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. Judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the back of fools. Okay, that is Proverbs 19. There was so much. Like, when I'm reading it, I want to stop. Because, so I don't read the chapters ahead of time because I want it all to be right then and there. Because because the idea is my thought is if I would prepare a whole little sermon, and then chat kind of takes it a different direction, well then I just kind of prepared it for no reason. However, that also sounds kind of lazy to me to not prepare a sermon, which that's really actually what I was going for. I was really just going for it to get some. I was really just doing a stream to engage chat. When I do an in-depth Bible study, that will not be a stream. That'll be a video. The stream is just to be interactive. Okay, the chat says, yo, yo. Marky Man says, yo, yo, David Gay. Marky Man, what's up, Adam? Hello, Marky. Thank you for joining. That is chat. Yeah. So, here we go. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips is a fool. I agree. If you're poor but are a good person, it's better than to be rich and be evil. I think that's better. For starters, ultimately, because the good guy's going to heaven, the bad guy's going to hell. That, and I just have the peace of mind. I guess the evil have peace of mind because they don't really consider their evil ways. Well, then ultimately, one's going to heaven, one's going to hell. I think it's better to go to heaven, to be poor on the earth, and then go to heaven when you die, as to be rich on the earth and go to hell when you die. Much better to be poor and then go to heaven. It would be nice if you could be rich and go to heaven, but, it is what it is, whatever. Also, the soul be without knowledge, it is not good, and he that hasteth his feet sinneth. This is fascinating to me. So also, that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. It is not good for you to be a know-nothing. And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. This is interesting, because I kind of wonder when this applies. Ooh, Brenda Brazell comments, keep going, Adam, you're doing great. Aw, thanks. Thanks, Mom. Yay! Thank you. Also, it is not... So, he says that he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. Oh, David comments, Marky Gay and Thug Life. Very good. Very good, Dragon Ball Dave. He that hasteth with his feet sinneth. This is interesting to me because, I don't know, on one hand, you want to go and you want to do stuff and you want to get stuff done. And you don't need to plan it all out. You just need to do it because a lot of times you do a lot more thinking than you do doing. And that's not good. But if you rush into things, that's also bad because then you rush to your own failure. So it's like, oh my gosh, trust in God and do your best. And try not to be a fool. I think you're inevitably going to fail. You will inevitably fail at things. That is guaranteed. Failure is guaranteed. Think of failure as stepping stones. If you've only failed once, you've only taken one step. So that's really how to look at failure. If you failed 1,000,000 times, you've taken 1,000,000 steps. So just keep trying, keep going. But as for this guy, he is, without knowledge, hasting to failure. Well, then that's not even a profitable failure. Despicable. Failure should be profitable because you should be able to learn from it. If you're failing and not learning, then, wow, that sucks. It's like you're just failing for no reason. Wow, that's terrible. Okay. The foolishness of man perverteth his way, and his heart fretteth against the Lord. That's interesting. His heart fretteth. It's always against God. Interesting. Wealth maketh many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. Is this true? So if you are rich, I guess it says rich and wealth, or I guess they are technically different, but wealth maketh many friends. I guess if you're wealthy, you would have a lot of friends because you could go out and afford to do stuff and not really be afraid of, what if I don't have money to pay bills, or what if this, or what if that. I guess wealth kind of liberates you and makes you more free to do stuff. Maybe that's why you have more friends. I don't know. But the poor is separated from his neighbor. So, in my personal experience, well, this will sound terrible, but I don't even know my neighbors. Terrible. Not. Dragon Ball Day says not. Dragon Ball Day says, not all treasure silver and gold, mate. Not all treasure silver and gold, mate. That's right, there's diamonds. I agree. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape. That is verse 5. And verse 9 says, a false witness shall not be unpunished, he that speaketh lies shall perish. So verse 5 and verse 9 kind of say the same thing. A false witness shall not be unpunished. A false witness shall not be unpunished. He that speaketh lies shall not escape. He that speaketh lies shall perish. So my take on this is that God hates liars so much that he says it twice. That's my take on that. God hates liars so much. He hates a lying mouth and a deceitful tongue so much that he just keeps telling us about how much he hates it. That's my take on it. God hates it when people lie. Quit lying. At least be wrong, but don't lie. Many will entreat the favor of the prince, and every man is a friend to him that gives gifts. So the prince doesn't necessarily mean an actual prince. It could just mean someone with like authority, like a senator or a governor or a rich man or like the CEO of some rich business. Or not even the CEO, but like the second in command, like the vice president or the vice CEO or whatever that is. That's what the prince represents. Just someone who is important and has a power and authority and is like a leader of people. Like a boss. They will entreat the favor of a prince, and every man is a friend of him. Every man is a friend of him that giveth gifts. So if you are a gift giver, if you just like giving away stuff, then everyone's going to like you and want to be next to you and be your friend. When Jesus Christ was feeding people bread... Whoa, chat is blowing up. Great Lion of Judah. Isaac does not equal Jew. Abraham doesn't equal Jew. Joseph doesn't equal Jew. Eber doesn't equal Jew. Everyone's a Jew. Very good. Very good. Chat's blowing up. Okay, what else? Oh yes, giveth gifts. So Mr. Beast, if you know who Mr. Beast is, he's famous. Mr. Beast, he's all about giving gifts. He's all about like giving out money, free charity, free cars, free houses, free islands, free jets. He gives all sorts of stuff away for free. He gets lots of views doing it. He gets tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of views. So that's pretty cool. And everyone likes Mr. Beast. Everyone likes Mr. Beast. So I kind of want, if you are someone and you want to make lots of friends, at least a lot of, so a friend could mean a whole bunch of different things, but if you want to make a whole bunch of friends and give a whole bunch of stuff away, that seems to get people to like you. Now, when Jesus fed the people with the 5,000 loaves of bread, and they followed him, all these people, there was like over 5,000 people, and they're following Jesus. And Jesus says to them, you don't follow me because of my gospel. You follow me because I filled your belly. And all the people were offended, and they left. And then Jesus turned to his 12 disciples and said, will you also go away? Jesus, oh. And then the disciples said, Lord, to whom shall we go? Thou hast the keys of eternal life. And Jesus is like, yeah, have not I chosen you? And one of you is the devil. So yeah, giving gifts is good, and Jesus is like the best ever. No, chat says stuff. Hey, I think I fixed it. I can chat. Hey, Dustin. Hey, yes, you can chat. We can see you. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining. Yes. Dragon Ball Dave says, I can't see your message, Dustin. Interesting. Well, I can see Dustin's message. Dragon Ball Dave, why can't you see his message? Oh, I don't know. I can see it. I don't know why David can't see it. I see it though. Here we go. All the brethren of the poor, all the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, yet they are wanting to him. So this poor, all the brethren of the poor do hate him. I think this poor is as in poverty. I don't think it's poor as in humility. Sometimes poor means poverty, sometimes it means like humility. I think this is poverty. The brethren of the poor hate him. Now, when it says hate him, it doesn't literally mean they hate him. That's something else. Sometimes the Bible will say the word hate, but it doesn't actually mean like a wrathful, angry hate. It means hate as in like, I hate spinach. I don't actually hate spinach, but I don't like it. I don't want to eat spinach. If that's all I had to eat, that would not be the best. But you know, I don't hate it, but I don't really like it. So hate doesn't mean hate. It just means, in this case, all the brethren of the poor do hate him. It just means that they're not fond of him. They don't go out of their way to like be with him, and they don't really consider them at that high value. That's what that means. Do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him, and he pursueth them with words, yet they are wanting to him. Yeah, the brethren of the poor, they don't actually, in this sense, now again, it's not guaranteed, it's not absolute. You can be poor and have other poor friends and be poor and happy together. That's possible. It's not absolute. But sometimes this is the case. That if you're poor, then people don't want to hang out with you. That's true. If you're rich, who doesn't want to hang out with you? I mean, you know it's true. What does chat say? Hey, I think the Dragon Ball Dave says I'm trolling. Brenda says I see it. Good analogy. Thank you, Dustin. Dragon Ball Dave says I'm strong to the finish because I eat me spinach. I eat me spinach. Very good, Dragon Ball Dave. He that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul. He that keepeth understanding shall find good. I just feel like that's just generally just good stuff. Like, if wisdom is good, pray for wisdom. God said he'll give you wisdom for free. Pray for wisdom. Wisdom comes from God. Ask God for wisdom. A false witness, so we already read this, verse 9. A false witness shall not be punished. God hates liars. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less a servant to have rule over princes. So so when it says a servant to have rule over princes, when it means servant, it means it in a derogatory sense. It means it in a bad way, because I'm a servant of the Most High God. But that's a good thing. That's a good servant. But in this case, a servant to have rule over princes, it means a servant in a bad way. It means like a servant of servants. It means like someone who is just like a bad person who deserves to be a servant, who deserves to have to work back-breaking labor to serve someone else just because they're not good for anything else. You do the physical, you do the stuff because you're a bad guy. And if it hadn't have been for you doing your back-breaking labor, then you'd be out like robbing and stealing or being in prison or something. In this context, the servant is a bad thing. It means it to be a bad thing. Being a servant is not necessarily a bad thing, but in this context, it is. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less a servant to have rule over princes. It's bad for the weak people to have rule over the strong people. That's what it's talking about. For weak men to have rule over strong men, it is not a good thing, not a good picture. This is why we need Donald Trump to be the president of the United States, because he was amazing, absolutely amazing. Donald Trump, he's an alpha male, and he's amazing. Definitely, I think. So are Christians supposed to say bad things about our leaders? the Bible says you're not supposed to, but I don't know exactly what that means or like the proper context of it. I want to say that Joe Biden is not a very strong ruler, and I don't not a Biden fan. Definitely was a Trump fan. I love Donald Trump. I think he was the greatest president ever, and I think our economy was a whole lot better under Trump than it was under Biden. So I will say that. What is this? What does chat say? Does that mean, okay, keep politics out of it, fool? Politics and religion go hand in hand. The strongest will survive. A Saiyan asking me why I'm defending the weak. You've got to be kidding me. Defend the weak. Yeah, politics and religion are inseparable. The discretion of a man deferreth his anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. So I'm thinking what this means when it says it's his glory to pass over a transgression. I think what it means is when you forgive someone. I think that's what it means. So a discreet man is not an angry man, and he forgives. Like, that's what it is. It says it is his glory. It is really glorious when you like sin against someone and you feel bad about it and you go to them and they forgive you and they don't even hate you. I think that's glorious. What do you think? I think that's glorious. What does chat think? Killing, not defending? Whoa. You might be a teensy bit conservative bias. No bias at all. A lot conservative. Yes. Killing, not defending. What? Killing, not defending? What does chat mean? It's no bias at all. Anyone that says I'm biased, they're biased. The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor is the dew upon the grass. The dew is like the rain, and the dew upon the grass is going to make the grass grow and flourish and prosper. So if you have the king's favor, you're going to grow and flourish and prosper. But if you have the king's wrath, it is as the roaring of a lion. If the king's wrath is against you, that is not good. Now the king's wrath, it's not just talking about God, it's talking about like earthly kings as well. Even if you had Joe Biden on your side supporting you, it's going to prosper you probably in some way. I mean, like people that have like the green energy deals, and the government gives subsidies to people that have like solar panels and stuff. That's how the green energy makes all its money. It's from government taxpayers' tax money. The government gives subsidies to it. A government subsidy is when the government gives you money for free because you did something. So, the king's wrath, if the king's against you, that's not going to be good for you. If the king's for you, it's going to be good for you. But ultimately, you need the God to be for you and not against you. Because if you have an earthly king for you, but God's against you, you're going to hell. That is not good. You definitely want God on your side. What does chat think? We're not saying beast, we're thinking it possibly. Biased. Okay, biased. Oh, well, biased is B-I-A-S-T. Wait. Well, actually, no, bias is B-I-A-S-E-D. Wait, biased? Biased? Now I don't know how to spell it. Impressive. B-I-A-S-E-D. So, a foolish son... Yeah. A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. So a foolish son, if you have children and they're fools, this is going to be a calamity, which is like, calamity means like a big problem. Like calamity. It's a problem. I kind of want to look up the... Oops. I want to look up the word calamity. It means like a problem, but I want to look up the definition anyway. An event causing great and often sudden damage or distress. Disaster, catastrophe, tragedy, cataclysm. Okay. A foolish son is a disaster to his father. Okay? That makes sense. You don't be a fool. If you have children, pray that they will be wise. Pray to God that he will give your children wisdom. And you pray for wisdom for yourself, pray for wisdom for your children, and then have your children pray for wisdom for you, and have your children pray for wisdom for themselves. Pray for wisdom. Wisdom comes from God. If God doesn't give it, you ain't going to have it. That's why the animals don't have wisdom, because God doesn't give it to them. God doesn't give the animals wisdom. Pray for wisdom. And it says the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. Contention is when you're quick to argue and quick to debate stuff. Contentious. Nasty. And it says the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. I don't know what continual dropping is. I thought a continual dropping was a good thing, like rain. So I don't actually know what continual dropping means, but apparently it's a bad thing. Contingent, maybe it means continual. I don't know. It's definitely bad. I don't really understand what continual dropping means. But a wife that is contentious is definitely a whole bunch of low blows. It's just bad. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. I agree. If you virtuous women are not a dime a dozen. If you can find a virtuous woman, that's a special thing. They're not everywhere. A woman who's not bitter, who doesn't want to argue, who's not contentious, who is submissive and feminine, they're not everywhere. Like, that's like a rare thing. That's like a treasure. Like, if someone offered me $100 million or the perfect woman, I would immediately go for the $100 million. No, just kidding. I would go for the woman. Because again, if you had $100 million, but then you don't have a loving wife, I feel like, well, that's just kind of lonely, I think. I'm not lonely at all at any point. But if I had tons of money and, like, not a family, then I'll be like, well, I want a family now. A prudent life is from the Lord. If you get a good woman, thank God. There. What does chat think? If we give animals wisdom, they are the same as us, so it is cannibalism. Exactly. Give an animal wisdom and we're cannibals. Well, if the animals had wisdom, like all of the whole world would, like, I have no idea, but the whole world would end like tomorrow, I feel, or today. If animals had wisdom, imagine, for instance, fish. If fish had wisdom, then they would stop being caught in our nets. They would think, oh, this net is gonna. The fishers cast the net into the sea, and they catch the fish. If the fish had wisdom, they'd be like, oh, this is a trap. We're not gonna get in this net. And then just like that, we would not be able to catch fish anymore. If fish had wisdom, then as soon as they seen the worm attached to the fisher's hook in the sea, they would have wisdom and they would not bite it. If cows had wisdom, they would be like, oh, we're about to go into a slaughterhouse. Let's run the other way. We're like a 2,000. How heavy is a cow? Like 2,000 pounds or something like that. They're a massive hulking beast. At least half a ton, but maybe over a ton. If they just decided to stampede, they could just run through your gates, run through everything, run through that town, destroy everything. You couldn't stop them. If animals had wisdom, like, the whole world would, like, end. Like, at least as we know it. We wouldn't be able to catch fish because they would be too smart. We wouldn't be able to tame the cows because they would run away. I don't know. Like, it would be a completely different world if God gave the animals wisdom. Now, maybe, I don't know, this is totally off topic, but maybe in the end of the world, God will give animals wisdom, maybe? Because won't be any more death, so they won't need to use their wisdom to avoid being eaten, because nothing is going to eat them anyway, because there's no more death. Oh, that's something. In the end of the world, after the end of the world, after God makes everything perfect and good again, there's no more death, and therefore we're not going to be eating cheeseburgers anymore. We won't eat chickens. We won't eat the animals anymore. And nothing's going to die. So that's really cool. So that's really cool. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. Don't be a sloth. Don't be lazy. The deep sleep. I feel like the deep sleep is like a trance. I feel like, I don't know, but I feel like if you are like watching YouTube videos or Facebook or TikToks and you just watch a video, then it's done, you swipe up, you watch another one, it's done, you swipe up. You can do that the entire day. I don't know if this is talking about the same stuff, but I feel like you're in a trance when you do that. It is so easy to get hooked on the technology and then just keep swiping up. And then hours go by, the whole days go by like, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything today. Wow, I just entertained myself. Shall suffer hunger. An idle soul shall suffer hunger. This hunger is not just physical. It is not just a physical hunger. This is a spiritual hunger too. This is also a knowledge hunger. You're going to be lacking a whole bunch of stuff because of your slothfulness. You're going to be lacking food. You're going to be lacking smarts, knowledge, wisdom, spiritual growth, because you're not doing anything. A sloth isn't doing anything. So you're going to be starved for a whole bunch of different things. Pray about it. Pray that God will help you cure it and to at least not be so much slothful, or at least to get out of it. Something. Recognize it. Something. Try not to be a sloth. It is bad for your soul. He that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul, but he that despiseth his ways shall die. I'm assuming his ways are God's ways. So he that keeps God's commandments keeps his soul, and he that despiseth God's commandments will die. I agree. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. If you go against God, you are basically committing suicide. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given, he will pay him again. God, if you give to the poor, if you have mercy on people, God will pay you back, but he'll pay you back like 100-fold or something like that. I guess God likes mercy. If I see someone on the street and they're asking for money, 99 times out of 10, I will keep going. I will not help them. Say, oh, you're a Christian, that's terrible, why don't you help them? Because, well, for me personally, I feel like they're just trying to get free handouts and free money, and they're not really needy, they're just pretending they are. Should I give more? What does chat think? Chat, do you, if you see someone on the road, do you always help them? I don't. I have, but I don't always. Most of the time, I don't. I feel like when you give, you're supposed to give out of the abundance of your heart and not give grudgingly. So if your heart is not in it, then don't do it. Because I don't know if it's sin to do it, but it's not good. If your heart is not in the charity work, then don't do it. Your heart needs to be in it. My heart is not in it 9 out of 10 times when these people ask for money. So that's that. What does chat think? Brenda says, help if you can, because someday you may be the one who needs help. Mother. Help when you can. Okay, that's what chat says. Chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crying. This is when you need to beat that baby. Chasten. Ugh. Chasten means to like, chastisement means to like discipline. But just to be sure, let's look up the word chasten. It says, rebuke or misfortune having restraining... Wait, what? Humble, cow squash, deflate. That's not right. Chasten means to discipline. Rebuke or discipline. Subdue, humble. More definitions. What's the biblical meaning of the word chastening? To correct by punishment or suffering. Discipline. There we go. There we go. The biblical meaning for chasten is discipline. Alright, yeah. Wow, that was hard to look up. See? Studying is hard. What does chat think? Bro, yo people's in this stream. Yo fam jam. Yeah, isn't that great? Good stuff. The Lord has blessed me. Yay! So, discipline your son, your baby boy or girl, while there is hope. And let not thy soul spare for his crying. So if you're a parent, and you have children, and they're little, and they're babies, and they are bad, and you spank them, and then they cry, they will not die. You can spank them, you can discipline them, they'll be fine. They will not die. But if you do not, if you're like, well, I don't want to hurt my child, I don't want to spank them, I don't want to make them cry, they will grow up to be a menace to society and probably have their soul cast into hell. If you love your children, prepare them the right way. And don't not spank them because it will hurt their feelings. They'll be fine. You spank, so, quick story. This is a cool story, I think. A long time ago, years ago, I was playing with my nieces and nephews. And they kept turning off the lights in their bedroom. I told them, quit turning off the lights or I'm not going to play with you no more. And they kept doing it. And I said, if you do it again, I'm not going to play with you no more. And Lena, she turned the light off again. I said, okay, I'm not playing with you guys no more. And I walked away. And she threw herself on the ground. And she was throwing a fit, a tantrum. Meh. And then Uriah, her brother, he just seen that she was on the ground, and he said, "Don't hurt my sister." And he ran up to me and he hit me. How old are they? They're like I don't know, 5 or something. They're like a little 6. They're little. They're babies. 5 or 6, maybe 7, but they're tiny, teeny, tiny little babies. And I turned around and said, "Raya, did you just hit me?" And he says, hey, let me go full screen for this. I said, "Raya, did you just hit me?" And he turns to me and says, I forget. He says, "Yes." And I said, "Raya, do you want me to spank you?" And he says, "Yes." And then in that moment, I was mad, I was furious, and I was like hopeless and confused in a moment because I was like, what shall I do? I have to spank him. I have to. If I let him get away with this, he will be evil. I have to spank him. So then I turned him around, and I was like, I have to do this. He will be evil if I don't. So I turned him around and gave him one perfect good swat on the butt. Whack! It was perfect. And then stood him back up, and he paused for a second. And then he went, meh, and he started crying. And I was mad. I was pacing back and forth. I told him to go sit on the couch. I was furious because, like, oh my gosh, why did he make me do that? Oh my gosh, I was so upset. And he's crying and sad and stuff. And I go, and I calm down, and and then I go to sit by him. I go to sit by him on the couch, and when I go to sit down by him, and I accidentally elbow him in the face. And he starts crying again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, my baby. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And he's crying and he's sad. And I said, I'm so sorry about 1,000,000 times. And then something that looked like it's straight from the Bible. It looked like a miracle. He quit crying and he said, it's okay. My baby. The point I'm trying to get here is he was bad. I spanked him. He was crying and sad. And then I accidentally elbowed him in the face. And over the whole course of less than 5 minutes, the child went from maybe hating me, I don't know if he ever hated me, but at least he was not happy with me, to back to his normal, happy little child self. He said, basically, his eyes said, I love you. He said, I elbowed him in the face. I said, I'm sorry. He quit crying. He says, it's okay. The point is, if you spank your little children, your child, when they're bad, and you discipline them when they're young, they will not die, they will live, and they will still love you. This is like the best thing about children. They don't have grudges. They don't hold on to stuff. They do something bad, you spank them. 60 seconds later, if that, and they're fine. They're over it. It's amazing. It's like a miracle. So, spank the children. They still love you even if you spank them. Chat. Whoa. Okay, so chat says a whole bunch of stuff. Yo, fam jam, impressive, Mr. Powers. Studying is hard. Rebuke the system. What? Does calamity mean problem? Yes. Like, you can have a calamity that's not negative? No, calamity is negative. Book of Opinions. God gave all animals voices. What? No, the fish would not because they would... Oh, this is what's talking about the animals. See, I was behind on chat. The fish would not because they would defy God. What? Pot doesn't question Potter. Chat, read chat. Okay, I did it. I read the chat. I'm up to caught. I'm caught up to speed. If God gave the animals wisdom, it would end the world. They will no longer be caught. If he gave mice wisdom, they would no longer get caught in mouse traps. They would no longer eat the poison. And now the mice would infest all your stuff, and you could not get rid of them. Cockroaches. Even without wisdom, you can't get rid of them. So, and what if they had wisdom? Birds. What if God gave the whales wisdom, and the whales decided, you know what, we will defeat mankind? What if the whales just kamikazed into our ships and stuff and destroyed all of our ships and our vessels and our boats? What if the birds kamikazed into, like, our freaking, I don't know, what's something a bird can get? Our airplanes. What if all the birds kamikazing to our airplanes and our engines? They would shut down all air travel. The whales destroy our boats. What if you had the cows and the bulls and the horses and the goats and the rams and the sheep just stampede the streets, they would destroy all our vehicles. Could an elephant destroy a tank? If an elephant stepped on a tank, could it destroy a tank? Okay, so bottom line, if God gave monkeys wisdom, okay, so the problem with monkeys, even if he gave them wisdom, they don't have the fine motor controls that we have. So even if he gave them wisdom, we still would not have a Planet of the Apes because they don't have fine motor controls like we do. Like a monkey couldn't really type on a keyboard. But if they could, monkeys are very human-like. In their capabilities. So if God gave the monkeys wisdom, and even with their lower functioning motor controls, even with that, if God gave the monkeys wisdom, like, they could destroy the world. The animals could unite together and destroy us all. But the animals don't have wisdom, so that will never happen. What does chat think? I'm lost on a road. What? Don't know which way to go. I'm losing my mind, losing control of the wheel. I'm swerving on and off the road. What? Well, quit it. So, definitely, small screen again. Definitely spank your children when they're young so that they will not be bad when they grow up. A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment, for if thou deliver him, yet thou must do it again. A man of great wrath, an angry man. We read, I think the last chapter, the chapter before that there's angry men. Don't be friends with them. Don't be friend with an angry man. An angry man is different from like the average Joe. Like an angry man, like, they're just bitter and mean. Like, they're mean to you for no reason. They don't hold the door. Like, they'll slam the door in your face. They don't even hate you. They're just angry. Like, they're not even mad at you. They're just mad. Like, not crazy. I think it's crazy, but they're just angry. And if you deliver him out of punishment, he's just going to get right back into it. It's almost like it's a fool. You're a fool if you're an angry man. The Bible says a man of great understanding is slow to anger. Whereas a man that is always angry has to be a fool, by definition. So don't be friends with an angry man. Pray for them. Hear counsel and receive instruction that thou mayest be wise in the latter end. Counsel, instruction. Be wise, mother. There are many devices in a man's heart, and nevertheless the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. Yeah, that's totally true. I have many thoughts and many ideas and desires and aspirations, but what God says is what you ought to do. Because that's the only thing that's really going to last. That's the only thing that's really going to stand. Everything else is going to pass away. Everything else is going to perish. But what God says, that's really going to happen. What does chat think? Making this money just to go spend it. Whoa. Money? Chat says, like the Hulk, not sure if he counts as Bible worthy. So the Hulk is not the angry man. The Hulk is not him. See, the Hulk, the dude is calm, and then if he's like in danger or something, he gets big and angry. But even Hulk is not like these people. I happen to work with a guy. I've worked with a couple people that are just angry guys. These guys, they will slam a door in your face, but they're not mad at you. They're not personally attacking you. They're just that way. Like, if you guys are walking down a hallway, they will walk into you. They will not move out of the way for you. And it's not because they hate you. They're just an angry man. They're just that way. It's like, why wouldn't you just move out of the way for someone? That's what it is. these people that, like, if they were to put groceries up on a scanner at a grocery store to scan them, they would, like, throw the eggs onto the scanner, like, throw them up there. And it's not because they hate the eggs. It's not because they hate themselves or where they are. It's not because they hate you, the scanner, the cashier. They're just that way. They're just angry people. It's like, what's wrong with you? Don't toss the eggs. You'll break them. And then, are you going to clean it? Oh, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't understand them. Oh, yes, but back to the counsel of the Lord. Do what God says, because what God says is good. Now, what does chat say? Chat said some stuff. Living the good life, hope nobody ends it. But who are you kidding? Hey, who are you lying to? No. If they want you, best believe they're going to find you. What? I had a line I couldn't cross as a kid. Every once in a while, I touched that line. Talking about the angry man? You're talking about the angry man, maybe? Well, I'm not that way, and if you're wise, don't be that way. Don't be an angry person. Be slow to anger. And even if you were angry at something, there is a time for anger. There is a time for it, but then you need to make peace with it, like make time for it. Don't bring your angry self out in public. Like, go home or go to a private, calm place and get away from people, and then calm down, because life does not stop. Time does not stop, even though you can't handle it at the moment. So if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. So yeah, like literally. What if chat said something else? I had a line. Butt cheeks could be 2 words if you spread them. What? What? Very good. The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. I agree. I would much rather be friends with a poor, honest man than be friends with a rich man that's a liar. I agree. The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. So the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. That tendeth to life. I think it's, if you hate evil, that's going to be better for you, and you will not be visited with evil. Evil is not just moral evil. That's kind of like hate is not just angry wrath hate. Evil is not just moral evil. A tornado could be evil. Like, just calamity could be evil. Having it rain on you, like, oh, what an evil day. Stubbing your toe could be evil. Like, oh, I stubbed my toe. Oh, the evil. You know, evil isn't always just moral evil. Sometimes it's just bad stuff. So hate evil and fear God. Yeah, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. A slothful mind hideth his hand in his bosom, and will not so much as bring it to his mouth again. So what I picture in this is, like, if they're eating something, a slothful man is so lazy that even eating is a burden to them. Like, so much as like putting chips in their mouth. They're just like, why can't someone just feed me? That's what I picture. If you are slothful and you realize it, I pray about it and seek help. I'm not exactly sure how to fix it. Pray about it and ask God to fix it, and then also do your best to try and fix it. Recognize it. I'm pretty slothful, I think. I'm pretty lazy. I procrastinate everything, so I'm not perfect. But do better, try your best, pray to God. Chat said some stuff. So has the Lord lied before come on, I gots to know. No, the Lord has never lied. It's not even possible for him to lie. I'm assuming what you're talking about is this, when it says that if you love God, you basically will not be visited with evil. What it means is it's like a general thing. So I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, Dustin. If you, generally speaking, if you do good to people, people will do good to you. Generally speaking, if you do evil to people, people will do evil to you. This is why this, up here, this man of great wrath, even if you deliver him, yet you must do it again. An angry person is going to be mean to people, and generally, this means they're going to be mean back to him. And if you deliver him out of the trouble, well, it's not going to help him because he's a mean person, so he's just going to get back into trouble again. That's what that means. So, when it says the fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that abides shall be satisfied and shall not be visited with evil, generally, you do good, you're going to get good. You do evil, you're going to get evil. However, Jesus Christ is an example of he was perfect. He did no evil. He was perfect. And yet, all sorts of evil befell him. He was crucified. They sought to kill him. They tried to stone him. They chased him. They lied about him. They had false witnesses. All sorts of evil stuff. Job, also a good guy, and also a bunch of evil stuff happened to him. What it's getting at is that, so what it's getting at, it's a different context. It's, what it means is, I'm actually not sure. The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that shall abide shall be satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. Okay, so I think it means is, okay, so I think it's, I don't think this answer is going to fly with a lot of people, but I think what it means is, if God doesn't want evil to come to you, then it won't. That's what I'm thinking it means. If God doesn't want evil to come to you, then it won't and it can't. If God doesn't want any harm to befall you, then it won't and it can't. Like when Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego were cast into the furnace of fire, the fire did not burn them. They were not touched. When Daniel was cast into the lion's den, the lions did not eat him. When, who else? Moses? When David was chased by King Solomon to try and kill him, yet King Solomon could never prevail against King David. When Goliath fought David, Goliath prevailed not against David because God was with him. What it means is if God doesn't want... God will protect the good people, but that doesn't mean that nothing bad is ever going to happen to you, because something bad can happen to you, but it's ultimately going to be for your benefit, or someone else's benefit. So just kind of like Jesus Christ doesn't really benefit from anything we do because he's God. He doesn't need anything from us. But everything Jesus Christ did benefits us. So if God doesn't want you to suffer harm, then you can't be harmed. If he allows it, kind of like Job, it's for some reason. But generally speaking, if God's protecting you, then nothing can harm you. I don't know if I cleared that up. What does chat think? It was just a little bitty demon? What? A little bitty demon. I don't know if I cleared that up, but that's my take on it. A slothful mind has... Okay, so I read that. Smite the scorner, and the simple will beware. And reprove one that hath understanding, and he will understand knowledge. A scorner is almost like a contentious person, too. They're scorned, they're hateful, they murmur. Everything you say, they're always against it. Kind of like what I said earlier about the shooting that happened. Scorners are going to say, we need more gun control, even though gun control wouldn't have helped out at all. That's a scorner. So smite a scorner, and the simple will beware. The simple as in kind of the ignorant, foolish people. When it says simple in this context, it means it's a bad thing. Like if you are simple in the Bible, if the Bible calls you simple, it means bad. It means like you just don't think deeply about anything. It means it's a bad thing to be called simple in the Bible. He that wasteth his father, like wasteth his father, and chaseth away his mother, is a son that causes shame and bringeth reproach. I agree. Like, bad kids are bad. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth to err from the words of knowledge. Now, this has a whole bunch of different applications. I know the first thing that comes to my mind is when people hear about extra biblical books of the Bible that contradict the Bible, and then they try to go with these books rather than the Bible. And then, not just the knowledge, but look at the fruit of the works. These people that look at all these extra biblical works, you look at their fruit. Now they don't read their Bible, they don't study, they don't go to church, they don't really pray as much. And pretty much everything they know not to do, they're doing. So it's like, judge your own steps. And if you're walking down a path that is not favorable, then change. Know why you're walking down it and hop off of it. What is chat? Let me read these last two verses, then I'll look at chat. An ungodly witness scorneth judgment, and the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. So an ungodly witness scorneth judgment. I'm guessing this is a righteous judgment. And actually, maybe not. A scorner is going to scorn no matter what. That's what they do. Like hate is going to hate. A scorner is going to scorn. Whether a righteous judgment or an unrighteous judgment, scorners just scorn. They're always nitpicking. They're always complaining. They're always griping. They're always saying, oh, this is this and that and that. But never profitable. And the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. That means they eat it up. They eat up iniquity. Iniquity is like sin or wrongdoing. They eat it up. They can't get enough of it. Makes me sick. So that's like the ungodly will not cease from being ungodly. It's amazing. I don't know how they don't get tired of it. I don't know how they don't ever get tired of being wrong. Judgments are prepared for scorners and stripes for the back of fools. Yeah, you can correct, judging the scorners, the complainers, and stripes like a whip, like lashes, whoosh, on the backs of fools. That's what's going to happen to him. Okay. So that is Proverbs 19. I read one chapter. Typical. What chat said some stuff. But that wasn't justified action even for Jesus. Oh dear. Jesus may not be able to do evil. Wait, Jesus may not be able... Wait, what? Jesus may not be able not to do evil, but who says he can't do for justification in an emergency situation? Dustin, I don't know what you're saying. What does that mean? And Dragon Ball Day says thug life. Very good, thug. So, what? So when you say, Jesus is God, and God can't do anything evil because he's God. So when I say evil, I mean morally evil. God can't do anything morally evil because God is good. That would be like saying good is evil sometimes. Or truth is lies sometimes. Truth is false sometimes. That doesn't make any sense. So God can't do anything morally evil. But as far as doing evil, oh yeah, God does evil stuff all the time. When you spank your kids, that's evil. That's not moral evil, but it's an evil. That's how to look at it. When you spank your kids, that's not like a good thing. It's not like you want to do that. And if you hurt them, like physically hurt them, you hurt the little bottom. That's evil. You don't want to hurt them. You don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to make them cry. But again, one little swat on the butt, they cry for about 10 seconds, and then they love you and forgive you and have learned their lesson and won't do it again. That sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. If the children are bad, spank them. Beat the baby. It says he can do evil at times, but he chooses not to. Not moral evil. He doesn't do moral evil, but he does evil like God can destroy his enemies, kind of like Sodom and Gomorrah. He caused a hellfire and brimstone to rain from the sky and utterly destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. That would be evil, but God can do that. Noah's flood. God destroyed the whole world with Noah's flood. That was a great evil. But it's not evil. It's not moral evil, because that's just judgment. God has the authority to judge his creation. We are the work of his fingers. He can judge us. He is God. Okay. Your view on chat is like 20 minutes delayed. Oh dear. Far from cut up full. Your view on chat is like 20 minutes delayed. You won't even see these comments. Will I really? Will I really? Am I missing a whole bunch of stuff? I have it on... Well, it says you won't even see these comments, so I just seen that one. So it's supposed to be on ultra low latency, so it's supposed to be when you type something, it's supposed to be within like 5 seconds that I see it. So if it's not, then like, I don't know how to make it any better. But that is all I have today for you guys. That was Proverbs chapter 19. Next Monday, I'm going to start Proverbs 20 and see how far we go. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And God bless you guys and goodbye.